For the problem number 3, in an ideal diesel engine, compression is from 14.7 psia, 80 Fahrenheit, 1.43 cubic feet to 500 psia. Then 16 BTU per cycle are added as heat. Make computations for cold air standard and find the T2, B2, T3, B3, T4, P4, and work net, and E, and PM, and the horsepower for 300 cycles per minute. So, ito yung solution. Yung given sa problem is the QA, which is 16 BTU per cycle for the P1, 14 psia, and for the P2, 500 psia, and for the T1, 80 degree Fahrenheit, which is convert natin sa degree Rankine. Add tayo ng 460 sa 80 degree Fahrenheit. Yung makukuha natin is 540 degree Rankine. For the B1, 1.43 cubic feet. So, una natin kukunin is for the mass. The formula for the mass is the PBMRT, which is P1 B1 over RT1. 4.7 pound force per square inch, which is the P1, multiplied by 144 inch over multiplied by 1.43 cubic feet. So over the R, which is 53.35 feet pound force over pound mass per Rankine, and multiply by 543 degree Rankine. For the mass, the value for the mass is 0.1051 pound mass. And next is for the T2. The formula for the T2 is T1 over T2 equal to P1 over P2 raised to K minus 1 over K, which is dahil kukunin natin yung T2, yung magagamit natin formula is T1 over P1 over P2 multiplied by K minus 1 over K. So, for the T2, yung nakuha nating answer is 1,479.14 degree Rankine. And for the B2, yung formula is P1 B1 raised to K equal to P2 B2 raised to K, or P1 over P2 equal to B2 over B1 raised to K raised to 1 over K. Dahil kukunin natin yung B2, yung formula na magagamit natin is B1, which is 1.43 cubic feet multiplied by the P1, 14.7 over 500, which is the P2 raised to 1 over 1.4. So, yung nakuha nating value for the B2 is 0.115 cubic feet. For the T3, the formula for the T3 is QA equal to MCP multiplied by T3 minus T2, or yung pinaka-formula na gagamitin is QA over MCP plus T2. So, for the QA, 16 BTU. For the M, for the mass, 0.105 pound mass. And for the CP, 0.24 BTU over pound mass per degree Rankine plus 1,479.14 degree Rankine, or the T2. For the T3, the value for the T3 is 2,113.46 degree Rankine. For the B3, yung gagamitin is PBMRT, which is dahil kukunin natin yung B3, yung gagamitin is mass R T3 over P3, or the mass, which is 0.1051 pound mass, and the R 53.85 feet pound force over pound mass Rankine multiplied by 2,113.46 degree Rankine over the 500 pound force per cubic feet multiplied by 144 squared inch over 1 squared feet. Yung nakuha nating answer or value is 0.165 cubic feet for V3. So yung V4 is same value lang sa V1, which is 1.43 cubic feet. So next is the P4. For the P4 is hot point 4 to 1, or the P4 over T4 equal to P1 over T1. So yung gagamitin natin formula is P4 equal to P1 T4 over T1, 14.7 psia, which is the P1's 890.949 degree runtime, which is the T4, and for the T1 540 degree runtime. So 24.25 psia yung value ng P4 natin. And next is for the T4, hot point 3 to 4, or the isentropic expansion yung gagamitin. T3 over T4 equal to V3 over V4 raised to 1 minus K. For the T4, the formula is T3 over V3 over V4 raised to 1 minus K, or the T3 is 2113.46 degree runtime over 0.165 over 1.43 raised to 1 minus 1.4. The value for the T4 is 890.949 degree runtime. For the E, the formula for the E is 1 minus 1 over RK raised to K minus 1. Or yung RK is B1 over B2. So 1 minus 1 over 1.43 over 0.115 raised to K, which is 1.4 minus 1. So yung nakuha natin value is 0.635 or 63.5%. For the work net, the formula is EQA, or 0.635 multiplied by 16 BTU. Yung value ng work net na nakuha natin is 10.16 BTU. Next is the PM. The formula for the PM is work net over V1 minus V2, 10.16 BTU over 1.43 minus 0.115 cubic feet. Yung nakuha natin formula is 41.743 PSI, which is nakuha natin yung PSI dahil kinonvert natin yung nakuha natin dito. And the lastly is the work net in horsepower. So 10.16 BTU per over minute multiplied by 300 BTU over minute and multiplied by 1 horsepower over 42.4 BTU per minute para ma-convert natin siya into horsepower. So yung nakuha nating work net is 71.887 horsepower. So yun yung solution sa problem number 3.